Hello, this is Reverend J.L. Franklin, President of the Southwest Louisiana Community Coalition for Action. Let me thank you so much for tuning in to our videos. I've heard so many of you, not only in our city, our parish, but across the state and even the nation. It is a joy for us to bring to you news that you can use. People ask all the time how they can become a member and a change agent in the Southwest Louisiana Community Coalition for Action. And all you have to do is start by calling the hotline number at 337-215-5353. And those of you who would like to support us with a contribution to continue to help us stay on the front line in the fight right here in our own backyard. And trust me, it is a fight. In fact, Dr. Martin Luther King said it this way, that freedom is not given, but it must be demanded. And so you can send those contributions to the Southwest Louisiana Community Coalition for Action. P.O. Box 836, Lake Charles, Louisiana 70602. And we would gladly appreciate any gift that you send. We're free. Oh, yes, we are. We're free. And we are not afraid to say what most people think. Because sometimes I want to make it personal here. Sometimes I think that we live out here on a plantation, you know, like Calcasieu Plantation or Lake Charles Plantation, because many of our so-called leaders, most of our black elected officials, not all, but most of them, they go along to get along, and subsequently our people get absolutely nothing. Now let's get right into it today. The president's viewpoint today, I want to raise a question. How ironic it is that President Donald J. Trump, look there at the headline, is coming to Lake Charles, Louisiana again. That's right, President Donald Trump is coming to Lake Charles, Louisiana again. He's coming on this Friday. It's his third visit to Lake Charles, Louisiana. He's been here not once, not twice, but this Friday will be his third visit. He's a Republican. The question is, Democrats, who are you bringing to town? He's coming to rally the base for this governor's election. And so who are the Democrats bringing? But let me, first of all, I want to commend our people for those who voted early. You know, in the state of Louisiana, there are 928,114 African Americans who are registered to vote. There was a reported surge of Democrats in the early vote as expected, but not quite the 27% of African Americans. There are 918,369 registered Republicans, and they turn out in greater numbers than in 2015, with what will probably amount to 42%. Now, my people, hear me well. You must vote this Saturday. You should know that a terrible and bloody civil war freed enslaved Americans. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution, 1868, granted African Americans the right of citizenship. However, this did not always translate into the ability to vote. Black voters were systematically turned away from state polling places. To combat this problem, Congress passed what is known as the 15th Amendment in 1870. And here's what that 15th Amendment says. It says the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, and previous condition of servitude. You know, in the 60s, many brave and passionate Americans, they protested. Not only did they protest, but they marched. They were arrested, and they even died working toward voting equality. Dr. King led protests that turned the tide of American political opinion. And in 1965, that's right, the Voting Rights Act directed the Attorney General to enforce the right to vote for African Americans. So if you don't vote, shame on you, because too much blood has been shed on our behalf. Now, this election is critical. And you know what? Who wins the governor's race is very, very crucial. Democratic governor is running for re-election, Governor John Bel Edwards, and there are two major Republicans opponents, Eddie Rispone and Congressman Ralph Abraham. If you want to go back or if you want to go forward, you need to vote. Every state office is up for grabs. Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, Commissioner of Insurance, State Treasurer, 144 legislators. Some have gone in already unopposed. But there's a big one. There's a big one for us. And that is District 34, state representative seat. Now, let me just say a few things about this seat. And let me tell you that all of the candidates who are running for public office, wherever they are in this state, they are mandated to file campaign finance reports. And you know what? It is all public record. You ought to check it out. There are 3 candidates, and let me call their names in alphabetical order, just as their names will appear on the ballot. Mr. Wilford Carter, he's a retired judge. He's a former state representative. Mr. Kevin Guidry, who has served 16 years as a police juryman. Miss Matilda Miller, she's a business owner. But please, go to the Louisiana Secretary of State. Look at their campaign finance reports. All you have to do is just put their names in and view their reports. And let me tell you, it will blow your mind. Now, history is happening in District 34 because this is the first time in the history of District 34 for this seat. You know, in fact, it's going to be well over the cost for this seat. These candidates will spend over $150,000 for this seat. Get that, listen to me very well. Yeah, never in the history of this seat did any candidate raise this kind of money. But you know what? One candidate alone has nearly raised 75 to 80% of that. Yeah, that's huge. And there's still 2 more reports to be filed. Let me tell you something. I've been an elected official. Oh yes, I've served as an elected official in this parish. I've been served as president of the NAACP. I know quite a bit. And I know personally that people don't give you big money for nothing. They're simply trying to buy influence. And that's why we must vote this Saturday to let folk know that District 34 is not for sale. It's not for sale. You need somebody to stand for us. Let me say that again. We need somebody to stand for us who's not going to go along to get along. Each of these candidates, they are good, they're honorable and decent people. But we need somebody to go to Baton Rouge. Go to Baton Rouge that has a track record of fighting for us. Don't make this a popularity contest. Now, whoever wins, we will have to live with them and live with that for 4 years, maybe even longer. And let me just say to each candidate that I wish you Godspeed. Now, there are 15 police jury seats that are up. Here are those police jury seats. And 4 of them are African Americans. District 2, District 3, District 4, and District 9, we have an African American running in District 5. But I want to say, let's not make this an elite club any longer. We have work to do. You know, that old cliche, if we do what we always did, that is the definition of insanity. We do what we always did, then we're going to get what we always got. We have a sheriff's race at hand. 3 candidates, Miss Elizabeth Carrier, Mr. Tony Mancuso, and Mr. Jimmy Richard. There are 4 constitutional amendments on the ballot. Please read them. Vote yes or no. All are important, but pay close attention to that 4th amendment concerning New Orleans. Now, in closing, if you need a ride to the polls, we won't tell you who to vote for. That's your right. That's your personal privilege. But don't sit at home and not vote. Please give us a call, 337-215-5353, if you need a ride to the polls. The polls will open up at 7 a.m. Saturday morning and close at 8 p.m. This is Reverend J.L. Franklin, President of the Southwest Louisiana Community Coalition for Action. Let me tell you what we're doing. We're building a community coalition for equality and justice. Make sure you vote this Saturday. Until next time, God bless.